happening, everybody, and welcome back to another YouTube video. And in today's video, what we're going to talk about is 5 tips for healthier shoulders. I'm going to show you the 5 things that you should be doing and some examples if you want stronger, healthier shoulders. And the shoulder joint is a pretty complex joint. You know, you can move your arm in all different directions. So it's very easy to injure such a diverse joint. And due to the way that we kind of live our day-to-day lives and our lifestyle, we don't always put ourselves in the best position to have strong shoulders. Now, I'd probably say that out of all of the clients that I've trained over the years, one of the most common problems, as well as lower back pain, is shoulder pain, shoulder injuries, past shoulder problems, current shoulder problems. And a lot of that comes down to just general lifestyle stuff and not looking after themselves properly. Now, depending on what type of person it is, if it's just general population person that's just come into me and they're just trying to get fitter, healthier, stronger, but not really done anything over the years, then chances are it's bad lifestyle and more posture related stuff. Now, if it's somebody that's already training and been training for a while, then it's likely maybe that they're not doing some of these things around their training and they're just kind of doing what I call the kind of fun stuff in the gym, but not focusing on these smaller things. Because at the end of the day, if you want to progress, if you want to get fitter, healthier, stronger, then you want to stay injury free. And doing these exercises and these principles around your shoulder are going to help you be able to do that. And the more you can be in the gym, the better your body can work, the quicker you're going to get to your results. Okay, so there's 3 things that we want to focus on when trying to strengthen your shoulders and when trying to maybe come back from a bit of injury. We want to work on stability, mobility, and strength. Now, because of the shoulder joint is such a complex joint, then you need to work on all 3 of those areas to make sure that it's good and healthy. Now, in terms of our day-to-day lifestyles, we spend a lot of time looking at mobile phones, working on computers, the way we sleep, just generally tend to slouch. All of that stuff is not very good for your shoulder, because when you slouch forwards, you're going to end up with bad posture, which is going to put your shoulder joint out of place. And what happens over time is if you keep repeating those same things, then your shoulder's kind of going to set in that position. And then when you try and do normal everyday things, or you try and push yourself in the gym, that's when an injury happens, because your shoulder joint isn't as mobile, strong, and freely moving as it should be. Now, the first thing we want to focus on is stretching and mobility through that shoulder joint. And one of the main areas which are going to cause it to be quite tight and not sitting in the position it should be in is having a tight chest. Okay, so tight chest, because of, again, that posture and that rounded forwardness, and the chest muscles are just going to get very tight in that position. So the first thing we want to do is work on stretching those and opening all of that up. Now, there's 2 ways that we could do this, and well, there's many different ways we can do this. For the purpose of this video, I'm going to show you a couple of exercises which are really, really good. And first of all, it is going to be a lying down floor chest stretch. Okay, so you're just going to have like your arm out to one side, palm flat on the floor, and all of your arm flat to the floor, including your shoulder. Then you're just going to use your other hand to push your body over towards that shoulder. And again, if you can push it that little bit further, take it nice and slow through these stretches, because what we don't want you to do is hurt your shoulder any more than it possibly already is hurt. So just ease yourself into them, push yourself over that little bit more, and kind of hold these stretches for 30 to 60 seconds. Now, if that one doesn't feel like much is happening, then one of my other favourites is opening up your chest, doing a thoracic spine chest stretch. So using a foam roller, and again, this is maybe a little bit more advanced, so if you've got a bad shoulder injury, you maybe don't necessarily want to go straight into something like this, but this is just for someone who wants to get a bit more mobility and range of motion through their shoulder. And this particular exercise I find is very good if you want to get better at snatching, overhead squatting, and just get that general better range of motion with a bar overhead. So with this one, you're just going to lay on a foam roller and you're going to arch your back and get your hands underneath the barbell, and then just move about until you can really feel the barbell weighing down those arms and just stretching through your chest. And again, you want to hold this for 30 seconds to a minute, maybe even 2 minutes. Now, once you've worked on mobility, getting that joint moving better, then we can start working on stabilizing the joint. Okay, now it's moving better and sort of sitting in the position where we want it, then we can start to stabilize the joint. And there's a couple of go-to exercises again that I quite like, but there's many, many more ways you can do it. First one is Swiss ball walkouts. Now, most gyms or people at home have access to a Swiss ball. It's just kind of one of those things, like someone says, oh, I've got a couple of pieces of gym equipment kicking around at home. It's always a Swiss ball, an ab roller, and like some other random different sets of weights. But what you're going to do is you're just going to get yourself onto the Swiss ball, and the idea is you're going to roll your body out, starting from your waist, and then you're just going to roll across the ball all the way out until the ball comes down to your shins. And what you're doing is you're walking your hands forward at this point and pushing into the ground as you do it, really pushing into the ground. Now, if you have like really unstable shoulders, you're going to feel that shaking and really working through that shoulder joint the further you get away from that ball. Walk back in and just repeat this again. You can do a number of repetitions, 10, 15 repetitions, or you can do it for a set amount of time, 30 seconds rest, and just repeat that process to work on stabilizing your shoulder muscles. Now again, a slightly more advanced version of this, and again, this isn't something that maybe you want to do if you've got a current quite bad shoulder injury. This is more if you're looking to strengthen, stabilize, and just improve your overall mobility and strength through those shoulders. And that is wall walks. Now, these are great because any kind of like handstanding movement, again, if you're holding your hands out straight and you've got weight coming down on that joint, you're going to feel that probably wobbling. And those stabilizing muscles are having to act and work really hard to stabilize within that joint. And this, you're going to feel it in your core, you're going to feel it, it's just a good all-round, all-over exercise. And I like to incorporate these in as a bit of a warm-up prior to some sort of then going on to like a push or pull workout just to get that shoulder joint warm. Now, what you're going to do is you're just going to literally find a nice wall, which is going to be, tall enough for you to be able to walk up it backwards, basically. You're going to get into a press-up position and you're going to start walking backwards and gradually walking your feet up the wall and walking your hands closer into the wall, coming into a handstand position, and just get as close as you feel comfortable to the wall. You don't have to get right up to it to start off, start further away and just gradually increase your confidence and get closer to the wall. And again, much like the walkouts with the Swiss ball, you're really going to feel it stabilizing through that shoulder joint. Another awesome exercise to incorporate into your routine. Another stability exercise that I think is awesome and what you want to work on, as well as that shoulder joint, strengthening all around that area, your scapula also plays a big role in that. Now, if your posture is bad and you're kind of slightly rounded forward, and most shoulder injuries come from everything being pulled slightly forward, then your scapula's not going to be that strong. So like in around your shoulder blade area. So moving on to something which strengthens and mobilizes that is also going to massively help with your shoulder health. Now, scapular push-ups are a great way to do this. And it's simple. Come into a normal push-up position, and then what you do is keeping your arms out straight, slightly soft at the elbow, just so they're not locked dead straight, but we're not going to bend any more at the elbow like we normally would with a normal press-up. Keeping your arms in that position, and then what you do is you simply squeeze your shoulder blades together and then push them apart again. Squeeze them together, push them apart. And if you've never done this before, it's surprising how tough it can really be to actually do that. And if you struggle to pinch your shoulder blades back together, then this just means you need to strengthen that area and work on that more than somebody else who can do that. So simply, 10, 15 repetitions again. And if you're not, maybe don't have the upper body strength to be able to come into that position or do normal press-ups, then simply do them from your knees. Same thing. Or maybe start from your knees so you can get the technique. So you're just putting less weight through your body and you can really focus on pinching those shoulder blades back as far as you can. Imagine that you're trying to pinch a piece of paper and hold it in between your shoulder blades. and then you're pushing down into the floor and you're spreading those shoulder blades apart. Then next what we want to do is we want to start strengthening all within that shoulder joint. So rotator cuff, rotational exercises. These get neglected a lot in the gym, but they'd help prevent an awful lot of gym bro injuries. If you bench press a lot and your shoulders are starting to hurt, then chances are you're not working on some of these things. But simple, any exercise which is going to cause your arm to be at a right angle and rotate out away from the center line of your body, okay? So what we're doing for the purpose of this video is we're going to do a seated dumbbell rotator cuff exercise, okay? So simply sitting there with your leg pointing out to the side and your body facing forward. So you're going to open up your hip and point your leg out to the side. And then what you're going to do is you're going to place your elbow on top of your knee, and then you're just going to rotate down as far as you can and rotate back up as far as you can. And rotate back up as far as you can, just getting a nice decent stretch through that rotator cuff and just pushing it back as far as you can, as far as feels comfortable. Again, don't over push it if you've got a bit of injury, and then again just repping out like 10 repetitions on each arm, and after a while you'll probably feel a deep burning sensation within that shoulder, and that's the rotator cuff muscle working hard. You don't need to use a heavy weight for this. You know, I often use 1.5 or 2.5 kilos max for these sort of exercises with myself and with clients. We're going to move again into another strengthening exercise, and that is the landmine press, okay? So pressing movements overhead, getting stronger at those, and the reason I think the landmine press is a great way of improving strength, mobility and stability in your shoulder, if you are somebody that has a bit of a shoulder niggle or just doesn't feel that strong through that joint, then these are great because you can kind of progress them as much as you like. But one, they work on strengthening and building the shoulder muscles, but they also stabilize at the same time. So you can start off by doing it kneeling, just with the bar, and simply pressing up and then following through with that press at the same time. So as you press at the top, you're going to sit your chest forwards so that your upper arm comes by your ear. And that just means you're getting that kind of full range of motion through the shoulder, but as well, because the bar is loose at that end that you're holding, it's also going to create a bit of instability and a bit of wiggle there. So as well as building the muscles around the shoulder, it's also going to stabilize the shoulder joint at the same time because of that instability caused by the fact that you've got to control and keep that bar in a straight line. And then you can progress it by adding weight to it as you get stronger through that pressing movement, and also varying up how you do it. So you can do it from kneeling, you can do it from standing, there's many different ways that you can do that exercise. So there you have it, 5 exercises that you can do and the reasons why you should do them to strengthen, stabilize and mobilize your shoulder joint. Like I said, you don't necessarily have to have a shoulder injury. I would do these with every single one of my clients, even if they've never said that they've got any shoulder pain or had any shoulder issues in the past. It's always a good idea to incorporate these exercises in your warm-ups, through your workouts, regularly as possible to keep that shoulder joint healthy so that you can stay in the gym, you can keep training, and you can also do everyday things. The last thing you want to happen is for your shoulder to be all screwed up, and it means you can't do the things that you enjoy in everyday life. Maybe you can't go to work, maybe you can't play with your kids, maybe you can't go and take part in some sort of activity that you like to go and do because of this shoulder pain and this shoulder problem. Okay, so don't forget guys, if you like the video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel, and I will be back with plenty more of videos just like this one. Pop a comment below if you have any questions about anything in the video, and also pop a comment below if there's something that you would like me to make a video on in the future, and I'll get round to it if I can. And don't forget, I'll see you in the next